This is day 3 of my vlog in which I take you through a 30-day Savate training camp. I'm James Southwood, I'm a former champion. I've been injured, but I'm returning to the ring on the 7th of October. Today is my light technique day, and those who were paying attention a couple of days ago will notice that I said this will be Monday about lunchtime. But it's a heat wave here in the UK, so I'm moving it to Sunday evening. It gives me a chance to talk about why it's so important to be a little bit flexible with your training plans. Some of you listening are very strict with yourselves, some of you are very loose and give yourself a lot of breaks, but in either case you'll probably find that there are times when you could be training and you don't manage to because of some external factor. So here I'm letting an external factor influence my training, I'm adapting to it, it means I get more training done. Adaptability to outside factors is exactly a fighter's skill. What I'm working on is my flow. Every strike should lead to a defense, which should lead to another strike, which should lead to another defense. So I kick and I evade, I punch and I move, and repeat, and repeat. It's present in every martial art, but it's taught explicitly in Savate. The touch, don't get touched. It's in our grading system. It's how we think, it's how we train. For me, it's also where some of the grace of Savate comes from. We allow the movements to flow into each other, and the result can be quite nice to watch when you see it done well. Someone mentioned in the comments of the last one that my training load looked pretty light, but I'm here to enjoy myself, right? I'm not here to punish my body. I'm enjoying this motion, especially after 12 months out when I couldn't move. This is me enjoying the fluidity of the motion. I'm making connections, I'm remaking connections. Here's a question you might want to think about. Is it possible to have an aesthetic first-person experience? That is, can you enjoy or appreciate aesthetically movement that you're making yourself? Some philosophers think so. What do you reckon? Have you had that experience yourself? I think I have. The fact that I do Savate assaut, which literally means, it's a name of a type of combat without any force, means you can do it with a smile. You can do it enjoying yourself and really relax. So if you're interested in that kind of fight sport and you don't want to get punched in the face real hard, maybe you want to check it out. One of the functions for me of a combat sport is that you can hold me to this. I'm not just going to philosophize about flow and movement, I'm actually going to try it out. Tomorrow's sparring, tune in then, see how I get on. Okay, second thing I wanted to work in my session was changing line. I noticed last week, especially when I punch, I tend to root myself to the spot. And if you're focusing on something else, like if I'm focusing on the attack-defense flow, often you find that something else suffers. So I'm training myself here to keep stepping offline while I do everything else. There are two types, or two names of footwork in Savate: décollage and débordement. Essentially means it's one step or two step footwork. Either you take an angle on someone or you move completely around them. I did discover towards the last few fights before the pandemic hit that if I flow between an attack, a defense, then change line and then repeat, eventually it becomes too much for my opponent. They might be able to withstand the first few salvos, but after a while, an opponent who doesn't stop attacking, doesn't stop defending, and doesn't stop moving offline becomes impossible to deal with. You can watch the whole playlist of this vlog here. Remember to subscribe and hit the notification bell as well. I'm uploading every day at the moment. If the algorithm doesn't send you the video, you want to make sure you see it. Okay, catch you tomorrow.